Right, so welcome back to the Darts with Jack podcast today. I am here with someone I would call a darts expert. This is Charlie Gray. So how are you today, Charlie?
I'm doing good, Jack, thank you. What about you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. So I'd like to talk a bit about the World Championships. It's kind of just finished a few days ago. Luke Littler was our champion. Was Littler someone that you predicted to win it from the start?
Yes, absolutely. As one of my Monday night teammates said, yeah, Luke Littler to win, and somebody was right.
Did you expect, we saw Littler under the pressure, but did we expect someone like Van Gerwen, who hadn't had the best of seasons, did you expect him to make it to the final?
No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing many people talking about Van Gerwen before the start of the World Championship after Minehead for the Players' Championship finals, really. So I didn't think he would get to that far until his quarter-final loss 12 months ago to Scott Williams, obviously, who went on to a decent run in the semis.
And kind of talking about Van Gerwen a bit more, he got better throughout the tournament. His averages improved. However, in the final, he got off to that incredibly slow start, going 4-0 down. Did you expect him to play that kind of poorly at the start of the final?
If Michael went 5-0 down in set, I probably would have said yes.
And, kind of looking at Van Gerwen's performance on the tournament as a whole, he was pushing for that fourth World Championship. Before we move away from Van Gerwen, do you think he'll get that fourth World Darts Championship at some point?
Oh, very hard to say at the moment. Some would say yes and some would say no. So you can't please everyone, really.
And kind of going back now to the start of the tournament, and it was kind of one of the most interesting World Darts Championships because of all the seeds that fell. And that game between Gary Anderson and Jeffrey de Graaf, where de Graaf dominated, he was clinical on his doubles. Did you expect someone like Gary, who has had an incredible year, to lose in this, the second round?
Well, the way Gary played at the start of 2024, I thought he would do well. He's hit loads of ton plus averages, like, what was it, 117, 118 on the Pro Tour? I'm not sure. I'm sure it might be 113. I don't know. But yeah, the way Gary played, I didn't expect Gary to go out. And another seed players, I can mention Michael Smith, James Wade, and Rob Cross. They went out early, and so did Chizzy.
Yeah, 100%. And do you reckon, we saw so much kind of talent coming through in the world darts, young players. You got, Jean Van Veen, Wessel Nijman, who lost to Joe Cullen, and picking up on that game between Nijman and Joe Cullen. Obviously, Cullen was kind of fuming at the end, and I think rightly so. The media had obviously kind of discounted him, but he is a major winner. He went a dart away, millimeters away from winning the Premier League that time. Do you reckon that with these kind of young players, there is a lot more pressure on the players who are more experienced just to perform?
Well, it's very hard to say at the moment. The way that Joe Cullen's been complaining about how his form's been going the last 12 to 18 months, really. But as you said, he was one dart away to win the Premier League in 2022. If he won that title, he would have gone back into the Premier League, which we won't go into because I know you're a massive Joe Cullen fan, really.
Yeah. Those young players as well. And, picking up on Joe Cullen, we saw him previously. He has been through struggles in form this year. We know that. But for Cullen himself, playing Nijman, who had an incredible year on the development tour as well.
Yeah.
Do you reckon the pressure that was put on him to perform was, kind of over-egged? It was too much from the media because, we know what he can do. So do you reckon that it was unfair for the media to kind of criticise him like that and make him, arguably the underdog in that game?
Again, hard to say, but some would say yes, some would say no. But I was expecting Wessel Nijman to win that game if Joe didn't perform really at the start of the World Championship. But yeah, if you go back to the Grand Slam not long ago, Wessel lost all of his games, averaging three in the three figures. First game 105, I think. Second game 106 average, and then lost the last game against Gian van Veen, which I think it might have been 111 or 112 in that game. That was ridiculous numbers from Wessel.
100%. And obviously Cullen came through that game in straight sets, absolutely dominating. But it was that game against Gerwyn Price, which I think was by far the game of the tournament. Obviously, I'm biased saying that as a massive Joe Cullen fan. That 170 checkout, how much did it take Cullen to do that under pressure when Price was sitting on match darts?
Yeah, that was an incredible game to watch. About 12 months ago, Joe Cullen could have won that game against Luke Humphries. That game was incredible the last 12 months.
And with the Cullen game, we saw he had that incredible 170 checkout about Price. But I don't think, what some people don't realise, he was 3-0 down in that game, came back to level it at 3 sets all. What does it take? I know you're a singles champion in your league. How much pressure does it take to come from behind to level up a game like that?
To be honest, when you go into the first break or the second break, you're like, yeah, I'm in a good chance now. But then your opponent turns things round and then comes back and win 3 or 4 sets in the spin, whether it's round 2 or round 3 game, really. Like Scott Williams did against Nico Springer in the first round. Nico went 1-0 up in sets, and then Scott Williams came back and Nico to win 3 sets on the spin. That was phenomenal, really. That's MVG's favourite word, as you know.
Yeah. And with the, that Cullen performance, 3 sets all, he then did unfortunately lose that game. For that kind of the game, the pressure, is it heartbreaking to, have such a big comeback like that and then unfortunately lose the game?
Yeah, it happens to a few players, really. Adrian Lewis, about 12, 13 years ago, he was 2-0 down in sets against Nigel Hayden, and then Adrian came back and won 3 sets, really. And of course, we all know what happened in 2012. He went on to win the World Championship. Now he's off the tour, losing his tour card, opting not to go to Q School. Cool. As I don't know if you heard the news about a few months ago, but he will be playing Boda Super Series.
Yeah. That's massive for a player with, someone of Adrian Lewis's kind of success to have that, kind of not, come down as a career, because we know what he can do. And obviously his wife was ill, which is why he took the break off, and not going to Q School, taking time to kind of recover his darts, going to the Modus Super Series. Does that just show you how much of an opportunity the Modus Super Series can provide for players?
If you're not a tour card holder, yes, you can play in the Modus Super Series. I know Matthew Edgar done a video on the PDC contracts. There's a few bits and bobs there what you can and can't do if you're a tour card holder.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Adrian Lewis, we've seen him, while we're on the topic of him, he's going to play Modus. He's aiming to go to Q School at this time next year. Do you see him gaining his tour card back at the first opportunity?
Oh, hard to say, but if he wants to go to Q School, yeah, go for it for Adrian.
Absolutely. Back to the World Darts Championship quickly. We're talking about the semi-finals now. Stephen the Bullet Bunting, arguably probably the world's second most famous darts player at the moment, obviously due to his popularity on social media. How big was it for Stephen to get into the semi-final this time?
I didn't expect Stephen Bunting to go in the deep run. The way he played against Peter Wright, I thought Peter was coming back at him. But even with Peter, took out the defending champion and world number 1, Luke Humphries. I thought, how is Peter Wright had a bad year, lack of form, and then get into the quarterfinals? Don't know, really. Don't know what to say.
Yeah.
But of course, Bunting went on to win, really.
And that thing with Bunting, we've seen him be popular, and now he's earned himself a spot in the Premier League darts lineup. Charlie, what are your opinions on this Premier League?
It's not everyone's favourite, really. You do get a few players that won the TV tournament, but just missing out by 1 point. I remember both Dimitri Vandenberg and Jose de Souza playing well on debut, but just missing out to get back in. And Dimitri reaching the semis, and then de Souza reaching the final. No, they were the two to miss out in the 22 Premier League
Mm.
season, and which is some would say it'd be a surprise, and some say no, it's not. But even with, I know a few like Rob, if you remember, Rob Cross was left out after winning the Europeans.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Is that,
that's very similar the situation with Mike De Decker this year. I think
yes.
someone tweeted saying that it is the first time that someone who has won a TV tournament televised on Sky that has not made the Premier League lineup. Do you think it was unfair for him not to make it?
Yeah, very unfair, really. I think it's the first time it has happened. Like I remember a few players that won a TV title on ITV, like the likes of who is it, Paul Nicholson. Who else? I've already mentioned Rob Cross.
Yeah.
Ross Smith. Another one
Yeah.
who did get in, Danny Noppert, and Richie Edhouse. Surprising,
Yeah.
really.
And with the form that people like Ed House have had, obviously Ed House has been an amazing performer all year, coming so close to getting the titles. That European Championships was massive for Ed House, and I don't think anyone kind of predicted him to win it. So, do you think now that the Premier League is becoming a bit more of kind of an exhibition, because there are some players who have won majors this year who have missed out?
Oh, you've got a couple of nights in Scotland, one for Glasgow and Aberdeen, but we're not going to have a Scottish player in it like Peter Wright or Gary Anderson, which is I don't think, not sure if it's the first time it has happened, but I'm sure there was another one in Germany. Like Gabriel Clemens was in the mix, but I don't think he was ready for that. So I left Gabriel Clemens off of the Premier League lineup, really.
And, talking about the Premier League in a bit more depth, you've got those 8 players. One person who I think absolutely deserves it, who is in the lineup, is Chris Hollywood Dobie. What are your opinions on him and this year?
Yeah, this will be his second appearance of the Premier League after winning the first night in 2023, then finishing seventh. Missed out last year, and then this year he's back in. Now, going price might be a controversial one. Should he be in or should he be not? Some would say yes, no, yes, he's in, and some say no. Yeah, I don't think he wants to go into the Premier League. But he made a U-turn round on social media, saying that he wants to go back into the Premier League. So he's in, and good luck to Gezi.
While we kind of wrap up this interview, Charlie, I've got about 10 quick-fire questions for you.
10? Oh, that's going to be hard, isn't it?
Right, here we go. The first one. If you were playing in the World Darts Championship, what would your walk-on song be?
That's an easy one, really. My walk-on song will be "Let Me Entertain You" by Robbie Williams, because I do like Robbie's music. He was one of the members of Take That and left the band in 1995 and then went solo.
I think that's a brilliant pick. Would definitely get the crowd going. Your second quick-fire question, Charlie. If you could choose any professional darts player to be your doubles partner, who would it be?
I'd probably say Glenn Durrant. He's a good friend of mine, and he's become a coach. As I went to his house, so he's been a massive help for me. If Glenn wasn't there, I wouldn't be where I am right now.
Who wins this year's Premier League?
Oh, it's got to be Luke Littler to do the double with the Premier League.
And your fourth question. If you had one double which people were betting on for you to hit in one dart, what double would that be?
I was going to say double top or double 18, but I got a nice spot on the double 16, really.
I think my favourite double as well, a really good one. Your fifth question. If you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh, there's a lot there that I really like. I'd probably say Chinese if you like.
Brilliant choice. Your sixth question. Which player who doesn't have a tour card at the moment do you expect to have an amazing 2025?
Who's currently at Q School to look to get one?
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh, I like to see Tom Sykes on the tour because I know you called his game even not long ago, really. So I like to see Tom Sykes on the tour. So got to be Tom Sykes, that's for sure.
One of my favourite players. This has been recorded, for anyone who doesn't know, this is being recorded on the 9th of January, the first day of the final stage of Q School. Tom Sykes reached the semi-final today. He's on 4 points, a few more good performances, and we should see Tom on the tour. Okay, a few more questions left for you, Charlie. What darts are you currently using?
I am using my Target Glen darts in 24 gram, 40mm black points, smooth, not with the grooves on them. I do have a backup set with have the grooves on them, and I am using a short stem. I did use intermediate stem because I do worry with the tweeny stem, almost hit myself in the eye or hit the nose. So I shortened the stem to a short stem, and I'm using a normal size number 2 standard shape fly. I was using kites for a bit, and then I went back to the standard shape fly. So I think it's made a bit of a difference there. Kites made it a bit quicker through the air, slightly bigger flight, a little bit slower through the air, if you like. So I went back to, I'm happy with the setup.
Okay, what are your personal ambitions in the world of darts for 2025?
Oh, ambitions, really. To be honest, I don't think I have any ambitions really. So I can skip that. So I don't know why.
No worries. Well, hopefully you can try and win a few more singles titles. 2 more questions for you, Charlie. This time next year, who has become the 2026 World Darts Champion?
Oh, I'm looking between Luke Humphries and Luke Littler, but again, I'm going to say Littler.
Going for him to be a 2-time Premier League and a 2-time World Championship winner. And your final question today, Charlie, is what is your favourite darts tournament to watch?
I got 2 or maybe 3. I like the UK Open, number 1. Number 2, World Match Play. And last one would be the World Darts Championship. So that's 3 that I love to watch.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Charlie. It is the end of this interview. So, Charlie, I hope you've enjoyed coming on this podcast.
No worries, mate. Thank you for having me on, and best of luck what's to come for you.
Thank you very much. Make sure you all go and follow Charlie's socials. I will put all of his links in the description below.